All right, you beautiful bastions of freedom, it's time. I'm a little bit tardy because I'll be honest with you, I'm working with cameras. This is the last time you will see this camera because the new one just came in, so bear with me as we make this adjustment. But that does not inhibit the greatness that will be laid out before you, hopefully, without any kind of errors. Because, guys, grab your popcorns, grab your beverage of choice, because the brewing undercurrent of civil war, civil strife, rebellion inside the Democrat Party is growing so loud against itself, it's starting to bust through the surface. And I'm going to walk you through everything right now because these people just aren't hiding it anymore. They are going for the jugular. And I'm going to have everything linked in the description box below for you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We are getting right into this, guys, because we have got a country to save, cutting through the propaganda as best we can, 100% clickbait free. And I hope you guys are enjoying the show as we go through this because, again, so much is happening, it's insane. Wait till tomorrow. That's my little teaser with the new video rollout. All right, so I see you guys in here. Audio, video is good. Excellent. I love to see it. Guys, remember, you are deputized and you have the sacred honor of defending the chat and the sanctity of said chat when those loyal lefties tune in. We're going to be polite, but honestly, don't let them get away with it. Because if we get the copy-paste guys in here, you guys know what to do. American Eagle, American flags, 100% fires, all the things that are necessary to chase away the darkness that is liberalism within the chat. And we are about to dive into this, guys. You know, this is the type of episode that I really hope you guys enjoy. So let me know as we go through this in the comments field in the chats, because this is everything. Watching the progressives and the left go after the other side, and then at the same time, some of those who were on the progressive side saying, like, you know, progressives are kind of annoying, all within the Democrat Party. We've got other people telling Democrats to just get out of the party. Like, legitimately, it's boiling over. And you guys know that if you do comments, chats, emojis, it makes the world go round. As we get into this, guys, let's have some fun. I'm just going to dive right in. An early viewer gets the worm, so to speak. All right. So, yeah. Goodness gracious. You guys know that I always like to start off with a little bit of an appetizer. Sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it just needs Jesus. In this case, it's kind of all of them. Because this leftist just decided to threaten all Trump supporters on TikTok, of course. This is what they had to say in a 6-second clip. There's a little bit of comedy here, there's a little bit of concern, and then the next clip is even more fun. All right, watch this. This is what... Get ready to shake in your little space boots, guys.
Murder on my mind.
Yep, not weird at all. Not weird at all. We're the party of violence, right? Okay. All right, that's just the appetizer. And this is the last part of it. Because this right here, guys, you would never believe what I've found. I was just rummaging through some things, and I found some old clips from 1995 of Bill Clinton. You know, when he was doing a State of the Union address and he was talking about this thing called immigration. It is the weirdest thing because I seem to remember, per this clip, the Democrats actually stood up and did some stuff. I mean, like, they were like banging their hands together to make noise and approval. It was weird. But this clip should serve you a little. This should serve you in a positive manner too, for the next time you are engaged in that loyal lefty or that family member that you have, or just anybody in the general ether of the internet. This would be a really great one to send out because there's a smidgen of hypocrisy. Something changed in the last 30 years, wouldn't you know it? All right, let's get to it. Guys, let me hear you in the comments and the chats on this one.
Agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Not only in the state.
Now, of course, if you guys aren't familiar, we've hit that a lot. We're going to hit it a lot. You're going to see a lot of ads. 2026, the Democrats stayed down, stayed seated, didn't agree with that sentiment, didn't say anything about that statement, nothing. No clapping, nothing. And then 1995, when Bill Clinton was saying this, there was a magical, raucous applause. Isn't it weird how these things just shift?
States most heavily affected, but in every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
It's weird because both sides of the aisle in 1995 are standing in ovation and banging their hands together to make noise. It is weird. What could have changed in 30 years? Oh, the progressive mind rot and the progressive virus that is leftism took over the Democratic Party. It started right around Barack Obama's time frame, if you're wanting an actual starting point. But that's what happened 30 years ago. And that's even more intense than what Donald Trump said. But for some reason, it was okay then, but it is not okay now. Just thought that'd be a little clip for posterity's sake. You know, I figured it'd be something handy that you guys could hand out to your nearest friend, family member who says Donald Trump is a big meanie pants. Man, I tell you what, Bill Clinton, whew, man, doubling deportations, more border guards, secure borders, can't have benefits, can't do all these fraud. I mean, Chuck Schumer said the only reason they would even do this are fraud. I mean, like, really, the Democrats of the 1990s have some very serious hatred issues. We should probably work out in therapy. You can't make this stuff up, people. All right, I got a super chat right over here from Sean Browning with a $5 super chat. The left couldn't even stand for the Medal of Honor recipients and have the audacity to mock them. They deserve to go the way of the Whigs. Well, good news, Sean, they are going the way of the Whigs. It's only a matter of time. All right, let's keep on trucking. This is going to be a little bit different of a show. Okay, so some basic housekeeping. Normally, I do a lot of tabs and tie them all together. In this case, there's going to be fewer tabs, but there's going to be more video content, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through the things that are happening under the surface inside the Democrat Party that are bubbling over to a point where they are losing control, okay? This is about control. The far left was used by the Democrats as useful idiots for a very long time. The establishment and moderate Democrats, as they would call themselves, not me, they would call themselves that. They used the far left to be the agitators, to be the far left crazy vote, to move the Overton window further than they could without them. However, now the far left has taken over the Democrat Party. The parasite is inside the brain. It is over. The host is no longer the Democrat Party. It is now the woke left. We've talked about that a lot. This is what we're about to show you, okay? This is incredibly important because the game that they played backfired majorly. Let me hear you in the comments and the chats and the emojis on this one if this makes sense, if I'm landing the plane. Okay, here we go. This is Cenk Uygur, okay? So you know who this is. This is a far-left progressive, host and founder of the Young Turks, okay? This guy is so far left, if you're standing in the middle, you need binoculars to see him, okay? He is the one person who started the outrage. He started the, I'm offended, you're going to be offended, the Republicans hate you, it's all about race, it's all about rich, it's all about these different socioeconomic groups that are going against it. He's fully got his fingerprints all over it for decades at this point. But now, when it comes to something like being electable, or something like the state of the Democrat Party of which individuals like Cenk have created, it's backfiring because, as I like to say on the channel, they're an eye roll. No one likes them. They only wait around to tell you what you've done wrong in your life and spread the misery that they feel themselves. I mean, I'm sorry if it's a little harsh. That is a reality. And everyone feels it and everyone knows it. That's why you saw 2024. Okay, here we go. Watch this because this boggles my mind. It's so wild how this could be. I mean, it was...
And of course on the left, guys, my God, we are offended at everything. We're offended at everything. And it's so annoying. And so the fact that the left can't see that is amazing, because now to my friends on the left who think, oh, no, you're just validating the right wing, etc. Guys, there's objective reality. When 79% of the country tells you that they don't want transgender women playing in women's sports, okay, you can say that you don't agree with that position. Nothing wrong with that. There's 18% who say yes, right? But understand that you're in the 18% and you're not in the 79%. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean that one person is more right morally or not, but it does mean you're in the minority, and your positions seem radical to others, right?
Okay, you're not dead. This really happened. This is an actual video clip of far-left progressive Cenk Uygur saying what you just said. You're annoying. Far left, my friends, everyone doesn't think like you. You're annoying them. They're never going to vote for you or your politicians because you're an eye roll. You are irritating. You are a woke scold. You are talking down to them. You are condescending to them from your moral superiority of which you have perceived of yourself. It's incredibly off-putting. The arrogance, the condescension, all of it. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me know in the chat if you know exactly what I'm referring to. Everyone does, because everyone's got that memory. That's why the Democrat brand is so tarnished. But now, all of a sudden, guys, it's annoying. We have to stop being who you are. What's gotten us power for the last 20 or 30 years is now no longer an asset. It is now a liability. So it's just annoying now. Guys, again, liberals, lefties, loyal lefties, Democrats, they are turning the script on you again. Everyone thinks that you are annoying, and they're changing the script while you are left being annoying. They got you again. Okay, watch this. Watch, we're going to keep on going.
And they can't get that through their head. They think, no, everybody thinks like us. It's only the fascists who say keep Messi out of women's soccer or LeBron out of women's basketball. No, it's not just the fascists. It's 80% of the country. So please, and when you go to burst these bubbles, the people inside the bubbles hate you.
Yeah.
So that's the situation I'm in.
Well, look,
That's the situation he's in. One little thing that Cenk doesn't seem to understand is he is completely and totally culpable for creating that. He has culpability. Okay? He does have his fingerprints all over it. But now that he sees it's a political liability and it's no longer a helpful asset, it's now back off of it. See how this works? Anyway, let's keep on going. We've got even more. Guys, again, this is just, it's going to stack and it's going to stack. It's going to stack. I need you guys to send this stuff out because we had a rough day with notifications yesterday and today. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Emojis, chats, comments, all of it makes the notification bell do at what it's actually supposed to do. So this one right here, again, I'm just going to keep on reinforcing this point. James Carville talking to Ilhan Omar. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to let you listen to this. This is wild. So for anyone who said, Braden, you're just making it up. There's no civil war in the Democrat Party. They're all kumbaya, rainbows, and unicorn tears. Everyone loves everybody over there. Really? Well, allow me to show you one of the chief architects of the entire Democratic Party. James Carville, the sage from Louisiana, from the Clinton era. You see how this Clinton era keeps on popping up again and again and again? There's a reason. Hold on a second. Watch this. This is talking to Ilhan Omar. Let me hear you in the comments on this one.
Lady, why don't you just get out the Democratic Party? Honestly, start your own movement. All right, let's do the simple math. Probably 69%, I don't know, we could call Jim Gerstein or Jeff Garrett. Roughly 69% of the people going to vote in November, maybe more. Let's do 70 for just round math, are going to be white. Of that, 48%, maybe a little more, are going to be male. So that's roughly, let's just call it 33 1/3% of the entire election. Well, let's just run against them because that's so goddamn smart. All right. So now we're going to have a campaign by the progressive left against white men who vote about 1/3 of everybody that votes in an election. Why don't you, lady, start your own party? And then when it's over, if you want to caucus with the Democrats, fine. We agree with a lot of things that you do, but we don't believe we ought to be running against white men. In fact, we don't think we ought to be running against any gender, any ethnic group, any race, any religion, or anything else. God damn, these people are just helpless. They cannot be helped. There's nothing you can do to help them. They don't want to be helped. And if they had any guts, they'd start their own goddamn political party and get out of ours.
And that's how he feels about it. Do you guys understand what he's really saying? Of course, it's very clearly what he's saying on the surface. But underneath the surface, you are costing us elections. That's kind of like what we are constantly going back to as an underlying premise behind the struggle between the left-wing progressives, as he just said, the left-wing progressives, and the establishment moderate Democrats. You have an opening and a window to run over these people full throttle to the floor because the progressives are going to sink the Democrats. That's why I cover these things. That's why it's so important that we reinforce these things. Because if I'm showing you this stuff and I source everything, you can actually take advantage of the disunity in your opponent and continue to save the country. That's the whole impetus behind me doing it. All right, let's keep on trucking. If that's not enough for you, I'm just gonna back to back, baby. And let me know if I'm landing this plane, please, in the chats and the comments. Now this part, Stephen A. Smith talking about the Supreme. I always do that. The State of the Union address. Okay, listen to what he says about this. This is incredibly important. I showed you James Carville. I showed you Cenk Uygur. Now I'm going to show you Stephen A. Smith. All of these people are different spectrums of the Democratic Party. They're all saying the same dang thing. Listen to this. We're going to interrupt this 2 minutes, but listen.
Donald Trump, when he asked the question about cheering and asking about protecting American citizens and prioritizing them ahead of migrants, he set you up. He knew you weren't going to stand. He knew 73 of y'all were going to show up to other places and not show up to the State of the Union. He knew that a lot of Americans that were moderates on both sides of the aisle were going to look at y'all as being every bit as out of control as you claim he is. The difference is that he takes those positions and the heat that comes with it as the incumbent, the president in office. You couldn't keep him out. And he's making the claim that you hate him so much, you're devoid of objectivity, and you're devoid of thinking about what's in the best interest of the United States of America because you're too busy thinking about your own personal feelings and animus towards him.
Guys, they're not going to listen. Okay, and make two things real quick. One, someone just said get out and vote and keep grinding. Absolutely. Vote like you're losing, grind like you're losing, don't stop, never stop, leave everything on the field, and then do it again the next time. That's a big mantra of this channel. When I'm showing you these things, it's for strategic availability. Or strategic purposes. It's not to say don't do anything. It's to highlight there's weaknesses in your opponent's armor. Drive through them. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I always do these things. Okay. There's no reason to be afraid of something that is in the future when you can affect it right now by grinding. That's kind of my standard. That's my impetus. Okay, for doing these videos. He's hitting it directly on the head. James Carville is hitting it directly on the head. Cenk Uygur is hitting on the head, even though he's kind of responsible for it. They're all saying the same dang thing. Y'all suck. Y'all suck big time. Progressives suck. Emotions suck. Democrats, y'all suck. All of it is there is a discontent happening underneath the surface that is starting to bubble over in the Democratic Party because the progressive versus moderate establishment are clashing. That's why you've got the James Carvilles. That's why you've got the Cenk Uygurs telling them to tone down the emotions and the annoyance. And then you've got the guy who's trying to make the middle play, Stephen A. Smith, openly telling them they're getting worked over and they're too selfish to look at the country over themselves. 100% correct. All right, let him finish, and then we're going to get a little bit spicier in a second because it's only going downhill from here. Okay, watch.
And every time you do that, he smiles and mocks you and has a field day. You played right into his hand. Don't come back at me and say F Stephen A. Smith, or Stephen A. Smith is selling out, or Stephen A. Smith is this way or that way. I'm just telling you what it is. Don't kill a messenger. Shape the message in a fashion that benefits you for once. The man has been playing y'all like a fiddle for 11 years now, and you still can't beat him.
That's it. They can't, because their emotions are overriding their logic and reasoning. That's what's happening. Hey, who believes that American citizens should go before other illegal immigrants in the United States? Democrats. Nope, not doing it. Not saying a word. Not saying a word. Don't care how stupid it looks. I'm not going to talk about Donald Trump. Okay, enjoy those ad campaigns forever. My God. Anyway, we got a couple super chats I got to get in here. Grunt 9898, $2 super chat. Carville is a disgrace, talking about James Carville, the earlier bald guy from Louisiana who was real cranky at Ilhan Omar. Greg Hardy with a $2 super chat. The message has been retracted. And with a $10 super chat, Jeremy Wills. Democrats couldn't even defy Jeffries and Golf? I don't know what that is. Pathetic. Okay. That's actually very true. All right, so now let me get caught up everything. I got one more, I think, just came through. Yeah. Here we go. Super chat. James, $5. Trump has a foul mouth. That's what they say, but he is not swearing in the Capitol building like these filthy Democrats. And Giggles the Clown with the $2. Did you see Paramount's going to get CNN? I have heard that is going to happen. I have indeed. That's going to be funny. All right, let's keep on trucking. We got the super chats, good, everything. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Of course, comments, chats, and emojis make the world go round. All right, people, let's keep on piling it on. The fire is just now warm. Let's put another log on there because you know Stephen Colbert? You know, the guy who made up the claim that the Trump administration completely and totally canned an interview with James Tallarico, the senator wannabe from Texas. And then they went with that, and the left was up in a fury about, Nazi Gestapo tactics, and then it turns out they made up the whole thing. Yeah, he just said, Stephen Colbert on silent defiance of Jeffries at State of the Union is a bold rebrand of doing jack squat. Wow, words are hard. Here's the actual article in The Hill right now, just dropped yesterday. Silent defiance of Jeffries at the State of the Union, bold rebrand of doing jack squat. That's the whole point. It is literally made for comedy. Made for comedy. But don't worry, it's about to get a lot spicier because the left has their own little talk show host. They think this is their new Joe Rogan. And she is here to tell you some very, very angry things. It turns out that the old anti-Israel piece is really still alive and well inside the Democrat Party. It is uncomfortable. I'll tell you what, talk about someone who's unlikable and miserable and wants to spread their misery to others. This woman right here. All right, here we go. Listen to a few of these pieces. You tell me there's not a problem in the Democrat Party after I show you this. There's probably going to be a lot of curse words in here because this woman is a very foul-mouthed individual. But anyway, here we go.
Hakeem Jeffries is compromised and he needs to resign. Serious members of the Progressive Caucus have got to quit playing patty cake with this guy. He is a corporate Dem through and through, and he is a fascist collaborator. There's no question that Chuck Schumer is as well, but we will not retain our democracy with the Democratic Party taking money from Palantir. We are not going to retain our country with the Democratic Party taking donations from AIPAC. The corporate Dems are controlled opposition. Chuck Schumer is controlled opposition, and it gets worse, you guys. It gets worse. Pop this up.
Yeah, everything's going great. And I want to highlight one thing that this incredibly intelligent paragon of thought on the left said. A fascist collaborator. We've heard that language before, and it's the word that the progressives use for any Democrat who votes with the Republicans on anything, right? So fascist collaborator would mean the collaborators get the same fate as the fascist. So the progressives are saying openly that they're going to come after MAGA, they're going to come after Donald Trump, they're going after the cabinet, they're going to go after anybody in the House, they're going to go after anybody who is associated with MAGA if you voted for MAGA, and all the fascist collaborators in the Democrat Party leadership. You guys seeing what's happening? because the progressives are openly declaring war on the moderate Dems, and they need to work together because they're in the minority. You have an opportunity unlike anything you ever had. The progressives are literally throwing the armor off the walls, and you can run straight through it. Because the progressives are the ones destroying it, not the moderate establishment. The progressives are pushing too far, and the entire system is breaking. It's happening. It's happening in real time. But I hope I landed the plane in this segment, guys. We got 3,000 people in here, even though I was late. And as a special announcement, I do have the new camera, like right over there. So it will be on tomorrow, and I cannot wait to show you guys that one and hopefully get away from that whole issue with the camera shutting off. All right, let's keep on trucking, guys. We have got 2 more things to talk about, and they are incredibly important. I want to make sure that you guys fully understand how deep the propaganda is. One of the things that you and I have had conversations with a lot around the propaganda and around the manipulation and about all the different pieces of which they are trying to shape your opinion, your emotions, your feelings, and your hope for our country. They are trying to destroy it through things that are not realistic and not true. And I'm about to play you a tiny segment of something that we covered in my prior video. And when I say, so I said in my prior video, and I was debating how I was going to do it. This is just a moment of candid honesty with you guys. I was debating how I was going to do it. And I was trying to say, this is what we have talked about. This is what we have done. This is what we are aware is happening, to highlight the fact that we're over the target, keep on going, right? That's the entire point. Everything that we're doing is all macro-oriented with micro developments into the end destination. That's the idea behind the entire channel. That's why it's growing, in my opinion. That's what I think. So if we go right over here, this is a very important piece of something you may not have heard about. This is a really big one right here, guys. Super chat with Fed Up With It, $5 super chat. Stand for patriotism, Dems stay seated. Yeah, that's exactly right. This is on CNN tonight. And did you guys know that there was a Supreme Court decision that said that the banks and all the financial institutions can now share documentation of illegal immigrants with the federal government and ICE and DHS? Are you guys aware of that? Because that story dropped, and I just didn't have time to cover it yet. But now we got a mainstream media here freaking out a little bit. Watch this, because it turns out that the banks are going to have to verify citizenship of their customers. Uh-oh. Watch this.
Trump could soon force banks to take part in an immigration crackdown. What I mean by that is sources tell CNN the administration is considering requiring financial institutions to collect and verify their customers' citizenship status, something banks aren't currently required to do. One source says the new policy could come through an executive order. CNN's Matt Egan is following this story for us. So, Matt, what are you learning about how banks are responding to this possibility?
Yeah, well, Omar, this does appear to be part of the Trump administration's aggressive immigration crackdown. Sources tell CNN's Priscilla Alvarez and I that the administration is considering new action that would require banks to check the citizenship status of their customers. Now, this would be something that would actually apply not just on a go-forward basis, but also to existing customers, which is pretty stunning when you think about just how many customers the banks already have. Now, this action could also require banks to check a different category of documents than what they normally look at, including passports. Now, I do want to stress that...
Does that sound oddly familiar? Like something like the SAVE Act? Because that's what they're required to vote now. So you're required to prove who you are and you're a United States citizen to be banking in the United States, to vote in the United States. It seems like we're kind of getting a little bit of what we voted for, doesn't it? Because if the banks are now having to not only show new applications, but you're also having to show retroactive activations, that means that every single person in the United States who is banking is going to have to explain why they are or they aren't citizens. Uh-oh, that might be an issue. Again, I would just like to draw attention to the fact that maybe some things are happening that we voted for. And by some, I mean a lot. And by a lot, I mean massive amounts. Okay, let's keep on going. I got some super chats real quick. I've got to get to them because if I don't, I will genuinely, I feel bad. I despise when I miss these things. All right, Ronaldo with a $5 super chat. Term limits would end this. They should have played the national anthem at the State of the Union. That would have completely finished them. As a 9.5-year combat veteran, says Patrick Parker with a $5 super chat, I have run across some special people, but these Democrats take the cake. That is very, very true. And Loki, 646, $5 super chat, can't decide which makes Reagan roll in his grave more, communists in the Dem Party or what has happened to California. I definitely think communists in the Dem Party. Because California is kind of like, it's always been California. It's a beautiful place, but woo. And then you got the whole communist thing. I'm going that one. Leonardo Allen with a $5 super chat. Sasquatch was telling me Democrats really stink. Sasquatch has always been so wise. He has always been on it. Guys, you guys are awesome in your super chats, and I appreciate it. All right, let's keep on trucking because this, you guys get the idea. This is all dropping. It's all happening. If you have to prove you're a citizen in the United States to bank, well, I don't know how you're going to do that without banking. I don't know how you're going to stay here illegally without banking. Are you going to run cash? Because come on. All right, let's go to the next one because this one is something I want to wrap with, and I touched on this in my last video. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I want to show you something about this propaganda piece that I was just referring to. One of the big things that they've told you consistently over and over and over and over again, come here actually, is that you are a racist. You. Me and you, us together, because we want people out of the country who are here illegally, who we don't know who they are, they haven't been vetted, and because they are a drain on the natural resources of our society and our citizens and all the benefits that we would have of being an American citizen. All those things are drained because we have people here illegally who broke the rules who need to be deported. It's not hard. It's not difficult. It's very simple. You did it. Bye. Okay. They told you were a racist for following the Constitution and following basic laws. This is the whole point. This is why they're on eye roll. This is why they're literally just relegated to the dustbin of history. It's a matter of time. You're on the clock of about 4 years at this point before it gets really, really painful for them and really, really fun for us, because that's 2030. More on that coming soon. However, this is something that you have to understand. They told you that everyone was against ICE. Everyone was against DHS. The progressive far left of the party went into the whole anti-ICE, anti-DHS. The Democrats shut down the government in the Senate around DHS funding for ICE, even though it's apportioned all the way through 2029. It's all about the virtue signal. But now it's falling apart. This is what I mean. You have all of these paragons of thought on the Democrat Party, from progressives to middle moderate Democrat to establishment Democrat to leftist to psycho crazy progressive. And they're all saying the same thing. Democrats suck. That's what they're saying. In their own little special way, they suck. This is really important for the immigration thing. Watch this.
Important to note, after all the events in Los Angeles, after all the events in Minneapolis, after all the events of the last year on immigration, can Democrats actually take advantage on this issue? And a look at the polling suggests actually no, they're in a worse position than they were at this point during Donald Trump's first term. Take a look here. Trust which party more on immigration. In 2018, Democrats had an edge of about 6 points. You come over to this side of the screen now, look at that. Republicans are the ones who actually have an edge on immigration. So this whole idea that Democrats are going to be able to take advantage of the immigration group, of the immigration issue, actually doesn't bear itself out in the polling, despite everything that's been going on. In fact, Democrats are in worse position than they were during Donald Trump's first term.
Yeah, maybe that they don't.
I want to draw your attention to something that I meant to draw in my video where I showed you this entire video. His language, take advantage of. Y'all, when they accidentally slip and they accidentally say what's really happening, like take advantage of the ICE controversy, that means they're taking advantage of it. However, they can't now because the polling is going in the opposite direction from them. Do you think it's a coincidence at all that Hillary Clinton moderated on this? Barack Obama moderated on this. I've got old clips of Chuck Schumer moderated on this. Bill Clinton, I just showed you. Literally all of it. Y'all, what you're watching right now is an attempt to take advantage of two people's deaths and complete and total chaos, just like they've done for the entire first term of Donald Trump and so far entire second term of Donald Trump. They only know how to agitate and destabilize. but they're having trouble figuring out which one the American population is going to side with them on. They thought it was affordability. Then they thought it was ICE. Now they don't know where it is. They are floundering. That's why you've got all the different videos that I'm showing you over and over and over again of Democrats either lashing out, calling everybody a racist, or saying that, no, y'all don't do what Donald Trump said. It's all over the place. You have 5 different State of the Union responses from 5 different groups affiliated with the Democrats. Across the board, they don't know what they're doing. This is the entire point. It's all about manipulation and taking advantage of a scenario. That's what he just said. We work really, really hard on this channel to bring you all the data and all the things that you need to cut through all the propaganda, and I hope it lands. I mean, honestly, when things like this drop, when we've been having conversations back and forth for seriously weeks, and then CNN launches it the same thing, that you and I have had multiple back and forth conversations and chats and comments and everything in multiple videos, it's kind of like, huh, weird. But wonders never cease. Listen, I love each and every one of you just the right amount. I've got some super chats to catch up to here. Hold on, because I do not miss these. These are not. It's not cool to miss these. Hold on a second. Dan Murphy with a $10 super chat. I could be one lazy MFer, but I will do anything I have to get my voter card. As you should. Excellent, amazing. Me too. Not the lazy part. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kicked the lazy thing out. But anyway, I'm with you on the voting thing. Sailboat with a $10 super chat. 30 years in the military. So glad that the country is pulling together to fight the internal rot. That's absolutely correct. And by the way, all veterans that have commented and non-commented that are watching this stream, thank you for your service. Thank you for giving your lives and your emotions and your mental stability to something bigger than yourselves for our benefit. I appreciate you. All right. Rhett Coasty Chief with $1.99. You need a birth certificate to play T-ball. Yep, you do. You need a birth certificate for a lot of stuff. Passports, IDs. I had to have an ID today to get my camera from FedEx. I mean, goodness gracious. And that's the super. We are caught up on the super chat, so I would not be a bad host and miss them. Okay, excellent. Guys, listen. We are going to wrap this one. I know it was a little bit different. Hopefully that makes sense. We're still at the 36-minute mark. I've enjoyed this time with you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments field below. The chat comments, of course, make the world go round. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. And guys, I want you to understand we are in this fight together. And thank you so much for being here with me, because we are genuinely adding things to the conversation very, very quickly, and you're doing a hell of a job. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Braden. Later.